Good morning. What's going on? I hope everyone's doing great, man. So today, you guys would have seen the last video. I was sanding the back of the CRX, and I told you guys that probably this video I would be working on the the front bumper support, because I didn't want it to continue to get rusty and nasty. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And I also told you guys that off camera I would paint the back of the CRX, and that's what it's looking like. Obviously there's still much more to go, but it is now, this back panel is now at least rust free. I work on that little corner piece there, same on the other side, the little corner piece there where the SI goes, and there as well. And then you guys already know about the trunk, the floor pan for the spare tire. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the bumper support and my horse, bring it out front so we can start sanding and figure out what we need to do to it exactly. Now you can see here that it's not extremely bad, but you know, there is some rust that we have to tend to. This is obviously the front side. I can show you guys the back side of it. I'm gonna have to take these little rubber gaskets off here, but it's not extremely bad. But again, it is something that I obviously have to tend to. So I'm pretty much going to do the exact same thing that I did on the back of the CRX. I'm going to sand it down as much as I can with the DA, and then I'm going to go in there and do what I can with by hand. Once that's done, then I'm going to oh my gosh, I'm going to blow it off, pause, with the blower, get all the dust off, then take the grease remover, the degreaser, wipe it all down, let that dry, spray the rust stabilizer on it, the rust neutralizer on it, let that dry, then primer it. Here, I'll show you exactly what I'm using. Again, Harbor Freight, nothing special, 5-inch 220, Harbor Freight, Chicago electric sander. That's all I got. I ain't got no money for all the cool expensive stuff. This does the exact same, and I get pretty damn good results. That right there, I'm going to go ahead and hit that with the 150, and then underneath as well I'm going to hit that with the 150. There is a few spots where I had to change from 220 to, I believe, 150 because some of it just wasn't coming up, so I had to go with a little bit of a more aggressive green of sandpaper to get off some of the rust, and I can show you guys. Just like that back area of the car, nobody's ever gonna see the bumper support, but I need and want to get it as good as possible, so that, you know, later down the road we don't have to take it all apart again just to redo the bumper supports. So I'm gonna do my best to get as much rust off as possible. This is like one of the areas that I had to go with 150, and then since I had the 150 already, I just went ahead and continued around. Some spots, man, are just going to be very difficult to get to, but I am going to, you know, do my best. Obviously in there's spots where I'm just not going to be able to, but I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to go ahead and switch to this bad boy because I know this bad boy would take off a whole lot. So we'll give this a try and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Use the wire wheel. I wasn't actually too crazy about it. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out different ways of doing this, but I'm gonna try to go back to, I'm gonna go to the sander, the DA, and the wire wheel, and just go back and forth with both and just do what I can. But I mean, because it didn't do too much. You can see kind of here the little lines as to some of what it did, but it's not doing a whole lot, to be honest. I found this guy right here, you see, is going in. So this is definitely going to give me the most this is going to definitely just give me the most and easiest way to get things off, honestly. Like, this was literally in a matter of like 3 seconds, that right there. And let me see what it feels like. Pause. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Maybe if I had one that was less aggressive, it'd be better. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with for now. That's definitely what I'm gonna go with. Damn. I'm trying, but it really is hard to get to some of these spots, man. There's a lot of indents, a lot of crevices, a lot of little pockets here and there to get to. It's been very difficult. That right there, I might have to do it by hand, obviously, because I cannot get in to there with none of the pieces of equipment, any of the tools that I have. I cannot get into all them little spots in there, so I'm gonna have to just do that by hand. In here, I'm gonna try my best. What we got there? We got some kind of spider web home. Just do my best what I can by hand, and just hope for the best, honestly. It's becoming a real pain in the dingleberry, man, to get into these crevices and whatnot. Dude, just getting your hand in there is a freaking mission, man. So what happens when you buy a car that was sitting under a tree for 10 plus years in the dirt. It happens. Gotta be honest, man, it's been nothing but a pain trying to figure out how to get into different crevices, different spots of this bumper. For the most part, I will say that a lot of this stuff is surface rust. It's not super like thick, which is a good thing, but there still is quite a bit of rust on this bumper support. And I knew at some point it was gonna happen. All them damn little sharp edges finally got me, bro. Finally got me. I honestly think I'm gonna be at a good stopping point. I'm not gonna continue to stress, man. I tried my best. I tried to get in there by hand. I got in there by hand, over there by hand, as much as I could, but it's just too difficult, man. If I had a sandblaster, it'd be freaking perfect, but why get a compressor when you got this bad? I went ahead and wiped down what I could, as good as I could, on this front bumper support. I think it's just still gonna come out great. I sanded as much as I could. I cleaned as much as I could. So wiped it all down with the grease remover. I'm gonna let this sit for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and hit it with the Rust-Oleum primer. Let me show you guys what I'm using. This is literally what I'm using for the front bumper support, and it's what I actually used for the back of the CRX. Now when it comes time to actually really getting down to paint the CRX, I will sand that and scuff that down so we could put some real good primer instead of the Rust-Oleum. But for the bumper support, I think it's going to be perfectly fine using that Rust-Oleum primer. Bumper support looks pretty decently dry, so I'm going to go ahead and spray it with not all-purpose cleaner. This is the rust neutralizer in here, so I'm going to, again, spray the piss out of it. All right, I soaked the living hell out of it, and I kind of wanted to do that because there was so many spots that I couldn't get to. I kind of wanted the neutralizer to really like almost leak or drip into the little spaces that I couldn't get to with the sanding wheel or by hand or by any of the tools. So I sprayed the hell out of it. Doesn't look like it's gonna dry up anytime soon for me to spray it. So tomorrow Tomorrow's another day. Then I glare. Tomorrow's another day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. This is what it ended up looking like the next day after the neutralizer was sprayed. You could see the difference that it made using that neutralizer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and spray it, primer, and let it dry. So first coat has been, first coat on just the one side dried overnight. So now I'm gonna flip it and do the other side. This is what it's looking like. Looking pretty good, much better than it was before, that's for sure. So let's flip it and do the other side. My apologies on this taking a couple days, but getting home from work or the weather just plays a part, unfortunately. But hopefully tomorrow we go ahead and paint the support, the front bumper support. Okay, I don't even know what day we are on, but today it's nice and bright out. The primer has had plenty of time to dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it. First coat done. I'm gonna go ahead and let it dry, and then flip it over and do the front side, because this is technically the back side of the support. Flipped it over, put it onto this piece of plywood or whatever you want to call it, this plank, and sprayed the front part of it now. And as always, I'm gonna let it be at that. You guys know the vibes, man. Make sure you sand as good as you can, prep as good as you can before you paint, man. You saw what I did. I'm not a professional, by no means necessary, but it looks pretty damn good. Got rid of all the rust, and it's gonna look and do its purpose right behind the front bumper. As always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. Make sure you share it. Make sure you share and hit that notification button. As always, you guys know the vibes, man. Chase the dream, not the competition. Peace.